Today I'm finally going to help you fix that cast, fix that throwaway in your golf swing. I'm joined by Olympic golf coach Pete Lockett. Got some Hack Motion live data. Let's do it. So firstly, I think it's really important. Pete just said this. Let's define a release. Now,
Absolutely.
Pete, in your opinion, what even is a release?
Let's define it then. So for me, if you set yourself up, let's set yourself up. I would define it in my industry, so in my coach. If you go up to the top, and I'm going to ask you to stop around halfway down, or a bit further than halfway down. So your hands are around belt buckle height. Now everybody's going to do this differently. I would define the release of how the hands and the golf club work in sequence relative to low point from one side of the player, hold, now come round to the other side, to the same side.
Okay.
So how the golf club is unloading from one side of the player to the other for a right-handed golfer.
So that's almost like a semicircle underneath us for about kind of waist or chest height to chest height, either side. Can you define, you mentioned something really important there, which was load and unload. What's that?
If you go up to the top, you know this, what's the worst player at every golf club? What do they do in transition? Go on. Right, okay, so what's that? What's
unloaded.
That? Okay, or what? Casting, throw it away. What do you say? Fishing?
Fishing, yeah.
So if you go up to the top again, let's throw it away. So we call that a throw. Okay, so as you throw, you're going to line up humerus head, lead forearm and shaft really quickly. Yeah? So what would be the opposite to a throw, do you think?
So a throw would be this.
Okay, so what have you done?
Opposite to that, sorry.
So what have you done there?
Loaded.
Have you felt, here's the question, have you felt it more from lead shoulder to lead wrist or felt it more trail shoulder to trail wrist?
I felt it all through here.
Okay.
My lead arm.
That's the first question for many players, because if you go up to the top, a lot of right-handed dominant players will throw it right-handed.
Yes, okay.
Does that make sense? So everybody's going to feel that differently. Now, therefore, Hack Motion's already going to give you data. So at this point now, what's your wrist angles going to be in, do you think?
So it's gone ulnar, maybe a little bit extended as well, that lead wrist.
100%. And if you go up to the top again and come down into a load position or a narrow position, so telling kids to play wide to narrow, you might see more, if you popped it on the trail wrist, you see more extension, those sorts of ideas. I would call that how long the player loads the shaft for.
Okay.
So hold the golf club. Typically that is easier to go wide to narrow. Your worst player at every golf club goes narrow to wide.
To wide, okay,
So the load phase is how the player loads the shaft or how long the player loads the shaft in the downswing.
Perfect. Okay, so now we all should understand exactly what the definition is of a throwaway or a cast or releasing it early. What can we actually do now to fix this? If you're the golfer at your golf club and you're slamming that club head into the ground and you're all over the place with your strike, too much loft, balls going everywhere, how can we actually fix this? Because like you said, the worst golf at the club's going to be this way, right?
So what happens there typically now from a low point perspective?
It goes behind the ball.
How many people struggle on fat shots?
So many.
Okay, so then the first thing is, okay, the player, because strike's king, everybody then wants to work low point, but why is the player throwing it away?
Loft, again, how is the face open? Are they desperately trying to square things up?
So why does it throw away? Explain that then. Why does the throwaway help them square loft?
Yeah, so gradually in that sequence, if I say had an open club face, the more I get the club ahead of my hands, you can see that loft is in theory going to point to the left.
Perfect.
And then I think just from a natural perspective, if you've got this, when people are left of the ball too, so maybe we can look at where they are laterally.
If they get too far ahead, remember so if you set yourself back up, how do we define release? If you go up to the top, we talked about defining the release coming on down of how the golf club unloads from one side of the player's body from trail side to lead side, but it's relative to, and in the face on camera, the lead shoulder. So if the lead shoulder moves too far forward, yes, you got down strike, but where's the ball going to go? Yeah,
it's generally going to go, well, up as one.
Yeah, but if you go halfway back again, if you go just ahead of it,
it's going to go right.
Okay, so now you're inclined to do what more?
Throw it more.
Okay,
so all these things, just for you people listening to this, all of these things are kind of byproducts of something that maybe has happened prior, maybe how you're shifting,
100%.
like left and right, laterally.
So how do you get rid of casting then, do you think?
For me, I always like to look at one, like I mentioned earlier, the loft. And how the loft is actually working. I know we've had a couple of conversations prior to this about your ideas of release, which I actually really like. You've got a couple of accumulators or a couple of things that you would say directly relate to a release and what actually are forms of release.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really like that idea. So let's explain that.
Release 1, I mean, I'll do this with the driver because a lot of people want to bang the driver as far as they can, don't they? Release rate 1, in simple terms, would be, in fact, if you grab the iron to start with, we'll go quickly into the driver as well after. Release rate 1 is how quickly the toe bypasses the heel in space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how quickly the toe is circling past the heel.
Yeah.
Now, just standing here, it is a product of forearm rotation. So forearm rotation to my left takes loft off, closes the face. Forearm rotation to my right adds loft, opens the face.
Yeah.
So forearm rotation is that type of move. Worst player of every golf club, biggest slice is going to come in heel first.
Yeah.
The biggest hooker of the game is going to come in toe first.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's release rate 1. Release rate 2 is, as we've just defined, in my opinion, of how the golf club moves from one side of the player's body to the other, relative to low point. Low point is essentially when the shaft pitch lines up relative to the lead shoulder. So if we imagine a little circle around my body, all things being equal, that club should line up to some degree underneath my lead shoulder. And if I'm, let's say, the worst player at any golf club, I'm typically throwing it early, which as you said. The higher speed players can do that and afford to do it later. 2 release points. So to get rid of the cast, you said the face was typically
open.
Right. So let's just say the golf club is, let's say there's a good grip in here, the face isn't crazy going back. The player that throws it is typically trying to square it.
Square it, yeah.
Because if I've got a face that's open, hands back, faces.
So would you say to people, check the club face, check the grip, check where the club face is?
Grip is got to be good enough.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always using hack motion.
Yeah.
I would talk about rotation and encourage face rotation.
Got you.
Rather than scoop rotation.
Okay, perfect. So the first answer to this in terms of why people do it is maybe they don't have enough forearm rotation. Would you say that's from the top of the golf swing or just generally through this hitting area that you said?
I like the idea of there's a full golf swing.
Yeah.
I would teach a mini golf swing to start with. And you could go on a pitching, chipping green.
Yeah.
Sort of halfway down to halfway through.
Yeah.
Left hand only swings.
Yeah.
You know, if you do this with me,
let's do it. Yeah. So I'm left arm only.
Yeah, so let's imagine hack motion. I like to refer to the hack motion as a watch. Watch face point towards the target, towards the camera.
Is it that camera, yeah?
By the time you get through to the other side, I want that facing behind you.
Okay.
Okay, and I keep going. And
So
what do you feel when you do that?
So I really feel that I'm almost getting that forearm to go this way through the hit.
So good.
This way.
Now, what do you think the club face is doing in terms of loft and rate of closure, if you want to call it?
So that loft is going from here and it's going this way very, very quickly.
Now, interestingly, your wrist angles are changing. What do you see?
Okay, yeah. That's really interesting, actually. So naturally, as I'm feeling more of this sort of rotation from where Pete's describing this kind of P5.5.
I'm talking about rotation. So this is humerus head, shoulder.
Yeah.
Radius ulnar.
Yeah.
When I do this, I feel rotation through here.
Yeah.
That causes the lead wrist to flex.
Yeah. So supination of the forearm.
Yeah.
And causes the lead wrist to flex, which means in the hack motion that what you like there, the rotation from P6 to P7 there is going to be greater. P6 to P8.
Often be earlier for people as well.
Perfect. So back to our initial topic. So that's going to happen earlier because you're trying to move things through here.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not going to go there and then there.
The game I would play, if you go up to the top and come halfway down, the game would be how far left can you hit the shot from here.
Okay.
Now, if you did, let's just chip one.
Let's chip one.
Yeah, let's chip one. Let's chip
a chippy one.
Yeah, let's chip one.
Trying to go left.
Yeah, I want like 15 to 20 yards of draw on a little one. Perfect. I really like there is it says it's plus 23 degrees over rotated.
Okay, so that's defined, that would be square. That's saying I'm plus 23 this
Correct.
way. Yeah.
Now what do that again. What happened to the loft in the golf club?
Went down and left.
Okay.
And where did the ball go?
Now left. Now if you can stand there and get that plus 20, let's get plus 50 with your clients. Now you can
let's hit one right. And let's just see what it says, shall we? So this is going to be for all you casters out there. This video is getting a bit long.
That's why they cast it.
But we love it.
That's why they cast it.
So it's this way, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. So a little shot. Wow, loft and right.
Okay. So you've dropped that, you've gone to plus 3.
Yeah, so it's gone down.
Okay, but yours is always going to be relatively aggressive because of how you hold the golf club.
Yeah, quite strong.
But still a massive change.
Yeah.
If you think about club path, 2 degrees is big.
Yeah.
That was what, 20 odd? Now, how hard did you have to work as a human to say?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
The average punter's not going to do that.
No.
Right, so if you can get the golf club overly rotating, now you've got a green light to change which bit, which is the thumbnail of this.
The loading, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be the fancy bit that everybody loves, this bit.
So how do we help people create more load?
So we're saying, just to catch up on this video, that has become a little bit long than what we wanted. So we've initially gone with this.
Well, think about that. We've defined release.
Yeah.
It's going to help everybody. We've talked about the easiest win is to get face closing down. How have we done that?
We created this little bit of forearm rotation.
Okay, so now we talk about how to reduce the throwaway.
So we've gone to plus 23 there when we're overdoing it. Now Pete's trying to explain to me how we might, say, unload and load the shaft rather than load it early and unload it.
Perfect. Right? Now you can do this, perfect. You can do this 2 ways. So you set yourself up. You talk about pressure as well. I want you to create 90 degrees of set early. I don't mind how you do it, because there's multiple ways of how to do this. Now the earlier I see, typically creating this type of delivery, wrist angles, typically the player is desperate to throw that away now, because it's been there for so long, saying please throw it away. I then see the opposite on the way down. Now you're in a cast mode.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's the one that everybody's looking at this camera here and thinking, that's me, fix me, Pete.
Okay, so here's what I would do, is I would take you back down to address, try and hit me, so try and get the golf club to hit my hand in the backswing wide. Okay, now create load on the way down in transition. Okay, and do that again, a bit more dynamic. Wide, 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 now pull it. Do you not feel like your pressure's moved anyway?
It has to.
Has to.
I'm not gonna go.
No, you're not.
It doesn't happen, so it's just like you said, it's naturally, you're getting that for free, aren't you?
Yeah, and then it's the same move from there.
Through there.
So let's chip one like that.
So we're building that up now.
Go slow enough that the camera can see it, but more importantly, slow enough that you can feel it. I'd expect more downstrike, more ball starting right, which encourages then more face rotation.
So we're going really slow, we're going really wide to the top.
Wide, pull, release. Right, there's your lower draw.
Lower draw, yeah.
Now it's a game of golf, isn't it? Is that too much load or too much release?
Impact, flexion.
Did you think about flexion?
Didn't think about it at all. So that's that forward shaft lean that everybody craves. We got in range now 6 to 7, and then we were over rotated 7 to 8.
Well, the ball flight told you that.
Yeah.
So this is why I love hack motion, and they're okay for me to say this because they told us to. If you put your club up towards the camera, flexing the lead wrist in isolation is a face opener.
Yes.
But that's now saying it's flexed.
Yeah, 30 degrees.
30 degrees.
Yeah.
But that's open the face.
Yes.
So I prefer the idea of forearm rotation to flex it, to get it closed. Now to get rid of casting, this is what you got to do.
This is what you got to do. Yeah. I like that. Even just as a visual for you guys that are thinking, what do they even mean by that? Flexion is that kind of shaft leany look that you're trying to create. You can see it opens a face. What do we do now if we change nothing but the forearms to square that? It's this, which is coming from this, coming from here, coming from here. And
you can do it either way, right? You can learn to create lean and then faces open and learn to flex it down. I just think it's easier to do forearm rotation first.
100%.
And then naturally create more load to help you deliver it.
Yeah, I love that. I also think 90% of golfers miss to the target to the right. So let's fix that first.
30-second fix, a 1 minute fix for a player that overhooks it. Which one of those two components are you going to change?
I would be trying to feel, so how does somebody go from here? How do they go more here? And how do they almost keep a little bit of that if they're missing to the left?
We showed it, didn't we?
And then the opposite.
Yeah.
That's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah, perfect. Pete.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you, mate.
You're welcome.
Love it. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn a little bit more about hack motion and the data that you've seen in this video, make sure you check out the video I did down here where I did a full product review and test on this amazing piece of kit. Understand everything about your wrist angles in the golf swing and how that might improve your golf game. And right now you can actually get up to $200 off this amazing hack motion wrist sensor. So to get that, click the link down below in the description of this video and you could be on your journey to better golf. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.